Hey, what up you guys, it's Danny B. You're watching The Trash Dish. In this video I'm going to be reviewing Death Wish 3.
Who the hell's firing, man? You told someone to fire?
I always have a hard time choosing my favorite. Do I like part 3 better or part 2 better? The main difference between the second and the third one is that part 2 is a much darker, kind of sinister movie. This one is more of an action film. So if you're gonna bring a Death Wish movie to a party, definitely bring part 3 over part 2. Part 2 is like full of like rape scenes and just like gritty revenge and shit. Part 3 is, old people versus young punks with mohawks. But that's kind of why it took a back seat to number 2, is because Bronson is pretty much playing an old man in this. In part 2, he's still a regular guy. Part 3, I mean, he's, still a regular guy, but he's much kind of like he fits in with the senior citizens in this one a lot more. And then, too, his acting in this is like, you could tell he did not give any kind of shit. He was doing shit in like one take, it seemed like. It's like, it's my car! But yeah, probably by far the cheesiest Death Wish movie. Even in part 4, it went a little bit more realistic. If you're a fan of that video game from the 90s, Streets of Rage, I believe they took a lot from Death Wish 3 for that game. And the way this one plays out, too, it's almost like a Western or a war film, where it's kind of like a showdown between the old people and then this weird gang with like reverse mohawks and weird shit painted on their forehead.
Theft, your money or your life. They hit the old people up here in the projects. You know, what goes on out there is a disgrace.
No, wait a minute. Who killed Charlie?
I'll show you. Those three. I saw them running away from the building when Charlie got killed.
Their faces are painted.
Well, they belong to the same gang. But we got hell here. They say it's their turf. See him?
Yeah. What about him?
Well, he runs the gang. He's the worst. He's been away. I don't know where.
As ridiculous as the gang seems in this, I do think there were some gangs in the Bronx in the 80s that were kind of like that. Like, I used to think the movie The Warriors was completely ridiculous. And then come to find out, that's kind of how some of the gangs over there were. And this is the last one directed by Michael Winner. From there on, J. Lee Thompson directed the 4th one, and then the 5th one. And I forget who did the 5th one. And then Eli Roth did the remake. But also, aside from being the cheesiest one, this is the most outrageous, action-packed one. I mean, some of the stunts in this are completely insane. You got a guy leaping off of the top floor of a burning building. You got Alex Winter from Bill and Ted playing one of the bad guys. He did his own stunts. He was jumping on the cars and shit. Bronson is, I believe, in his 70s in this, and he's climbing up ladders, like 10 flights of ladders and shit, jumping from roof to roof. And Gavin O'Hurley is the main lead bad guy. And if you don't know who that is, he played on the show Happy Days. He was Richie Cunningham's long-lost brother. So it's kind of funny that, like, the most, like the most white bread fucking family you could find on TV, he's playing the arch villain in this. But to his credit, though, I think he pulls it off. He actually is kind of menacing. Like, especially when he comes back from jail and he finds the guy that kind of took his place and he goes like, this is a sticker. And then one of my favorite smart-assy kind of Charles Bronson moments is in this. One of the main reasons Bronson is my favorite action star is because he's such a wise ass. He's always like, he's like dead silent, just kind of staring people down, and then he'll make like a sarcastic remark. So in this, people are like worried about their homes and stuff. He's like, things should be okay. My friend Wildie's on the way here. So then everyone's going like, who's Wildie? Then he gets this huge gun in the mail. I think it's a fucking gun they use to kill elephants. He goes, Wildie's here. And everyone just starts clapping. And then he goes, I think I'll go down to the street and get myself some ice cream. And then he puts a expensive camera on his back and he's just blowing people away for trying to steal it. And then one of the most over-the-top dramatic lines in this is, "They killed the giggler!" He sets up all these kind of burglar traps. So there's one, I think it's nails through a wooden board, and he puts that right outside his window. Someone steps on that. And then there's a flying board that will knock someone in the face once they get into his apartment. So they're eating dinner. Fucking the board comes flying up. They go, "What's that?" And there's like two things sticking out of the board. It goes, "Teeth!" The guy that plays the cop is pretty funny in this too. He's like, Bronson gets arrested, and then there's a scene where they're interrogating him. But they're like, he goes like, "Do you always make it a habit to violate people's constitutional rights?" And the guy just goes, "I'm the law. This is my jail. So that means you got no rights." And he punches Bronson right in the face, and then goes, "Put him in the cooler." They bring him right to that, and then he goes, "No bail." It's like, dude, I don't think that's your decision. He's got a fucking judge that'll make that decision for him. His movie's just totally fucking batshit crazy. By far, probably the craziest one out of all the Death Wish movies. And if you didn't want to see the rest of the Death Wish movies, a lot of people only watch this one. And I get that because the other ones are kind of hardcore. Maybe not so much part 4. Part 4 is kind of more in the style of part 3. It's just not as crazy. But the first two are kind of like very kind of dark movies. So if you just want a fun action movie, check out part 3. And I'm going to give this one 5 out of 5 stars. It's Death Wish Part 3. Alright guys, this is Danny B. You're watching The Trash Stash. Let me know what you think of Death Wish Part 3. Let me know what you think of the other Death Wish films. Hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. Peace out.